Have you heard this before? If you think about someone, it means that they're thinking about you too. But sadly, this is just a rumor. There is no way to know if someone is thinking about you. As wondering, fantasizing, and thinking about someone else is a one-sided experience. If you find yourself overthinking, thinking too much about someone, but that feeling, of course, not being a pleasant one, but instead a sort of worry, then this is not as empowering as you think. When we overthink, we feel like we're gaining control or trying to rationalize. Sometimes you start to wonder about someone and then you catch yourself doing it, so you start overthinking about what is it that you're doing right now. And that may seem like you are controlling your thoughts, but indeed you're just spending more time thinking about that person. And if this is an unpleasant experience, we must understand what is the root. What makes you wonder about someone and potentially doubt yourself in relation to them? The root of overthinking is fear. But my question to you is, what are you so afraid of? Have you never gotten hurt before? You know, you've been through so much, and you've survived many people letting you down. So what if this person that is occupying your mind lets you go and abandon you? Would you really not make it out of it alive? From the person that you are today, and how strong and capable you are. And I'm saying this because sometimes the fear when we overthink is to lose control. And if we lose control, we feel more vulnerable. And if we feel more vulnerable, maybe we are afraid to be seen for who we are. Maybe we don't feel like we are enough. But most importantly, if we're not enough, maybe we fear to be abandoned. Once they see who I am, they'll probably get rid of me. And I'm not saying this is exactly your train of thought, but I'm just showing you how you can go about it. As I just asked you, what do you fear? I thought it would be fair to give you a model on how to dive into your thoughts. You know? And of course, the fear of abandonment, the fear of being judged, the fear of being seen as someone vulnerable, the fear of rejection, these are all very human and popular fears. So while you might have a completely different reasoning about this, there's a high chance that a lot of people will relate to one of the few that I named because they just are so common. But of course, you might dive deeper and find out that your fears are something completely different, and that's okay. You are such a great, beautiful, amazing, talented, creative, interesting, charismatic, curious, and respectful person, amongst other things. So why would someone let go of that? They would be crazy to do so. Why is it that rejection feels so personal? Is it because it's easier to blame yourself? After all, if we are the culprit, then we can do something to change the situation. If it's our fault, then we can take the situation into our own hands and make it something better. And maybe, somewhere, somehow, if it is our own fault, then maybe we can blame ourselves again and feel not good enough and all these things that we talked about previously. If we judge ourselves all the time, then we can continue to blame whatever is blocking us on ourselves constantly and stay in this mindset of wondering, how can I get better? What is wrong with me? I must have done this or that. But you see, not only is it exhausting, to say the least, to even just say all of that out loud, but it keeps you in the same place. To become something new, you have to take a new form of action. You gotta do something differently. You gotta do something even if you fear. And only then can you surpass that fear. Instead of blaming yourself, what about communicating how you feel? Instead of wondering if you're not good enough, why not believing firmly that you are enough? That there is never a point where you'll be good enough, because there just isn't such a thing as being good enough. You are you. You are yourself before being your idea of a good person. And it is time to accept it. It is time to look at the situations that you put yourself in, how they make you feel, and if you want to continue to feel that feeling. Even if these experiences are negative, then it is pointing you to the opposite. And even though it's a hard way to learn, now you know what you don't want. And you have the right to not be satisfied by something or someone or someone's behavior. Believe it or not, it is not always your fault. It's not always about you fixing yourself and getting to the next level by working harder on yourself. It's about you getting real and stop giving your power away to how people treat you and see you. Your internal core and sense of identity is more important than how other people perceive it. And it is not because this person is not treating you in a way that makes you feel good that you deserve to feel less. That there is something inherently wrong with you that makes people act this way. Reality is much simpler than that. Hey, maybe they just don't care about you. They would be crazy to do so, but maybe that's the case. And what's so wrong about that? If we firmly believe that rejection is protection, it means that your person is just around the corner. You haven't met them yet. And this is not a race. You are on your timing. But for you to feel ready for what is about to happen, you must remember that your perception of yourself is what matters. Your identity, how you know yourself better than anybody else, that has more value than how someone perceives you in relation to them. And I'm not saying that it's 100% on the other person and they are so bad for not seeing how great you are. But what I'm saying is that sometimes you, in relation to someone else, just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. For other factors than if you are good enough, if you deserve to be alone for the rest of your life, if you always do the same mistake. You see all that pressure that you land on your shoulders and how ultimately it is not helping you. You must choose to see things simply for what they are. Stop torturing yourself to become better, to fix yourself. Stop taking the burden on your shoulders at all times, as you are not here to punish yourself for rejection. You are here to accept it. You are here to move through it. You can't just block yourself. You can't just stop yourself from existing. And of course, you can think about it for as long as you like. But usually, overthinking is rooted in fear. And so, based on everything we said, what is it that you are so afraid of? And is it truly going to kill you? Or are you strong and capable?